Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Monday. It is May 16th. This will be our chart lesson for the day, and it was pretty much all uphill today. When I came in, it was upward to slightly neutral because we'd started going sideways, but you could see we bounced here. We had this little failed break lower, and this thing took off. It's one of those deals. If you can catch those, you often catch the very low of the day, and that would have been the case here. You could have ridden this up all day on a runner. Any runners, depending on how you entered it, would probably be safe. But there were a couple other opportunities to enter here where your runners would have been safe, and you could have ridden it quite a ways. So um, early on, I was looking at the blue possibility of the blue channel, but we broke that pretty quickly over the opening. But you could also get a red channel off this new low right here, and you can see that red channel. I believe it to be valid the rest of the day, and that would have kept you in the longs all day long. So one of the clues to look for something additional was when you got the break here, but you just kept going higher, and you know something else is probably going on. It was pretty obvious when you had these two bounces in a row, if you just try to draw that line there off those two swings. Really, you had it confirmed here, and when it bounced again, you pretty much should have known what was going on. And you can see it held the highs the rest of the day. So, but you can see this blue one kind of affecting it too. Prices are working both sides of it. It's affecting the price action as well. So I think they're both valid. I believe the blue one was slightly too steep. Um, so let's back out. We'll talk about the trades real quickly before we do. Just in case I forget later in the week, I'm sure I won't. But I leave Friday for my annual trip to Brazil. So I will be out of the country for about 10 days starting on Friday, and I'll actually be back in the office on Monday the 30th. So I'll be gone from Friday and coming back Sunday. So assuming I don't have any travel issues getting back, which that has happened a couple of times over the years, I should be back in the office on Monday, business as usual. So definitely no chart lesson on Friday since I leave Friday midday or so. I may take the whole day off on Friday. I just hadn't decided yet. I'm sorry, on Thursday. So it's possible that there won't be any chart lessons on Thursday. It just depends. I got to wait and see kind of how the week is going and if I'm ready to go yet or not. So just keep that in mind. I will be gone. You won't be able to contact me. I normally can get a chance to answer emails occasionally. Um, Generally every other day at least, but hopefully, if we're at a place where I have good internet access, I can check the mail every day. We'll just have to see. So, but I ask you not to send during that week. Try not to send me any questions or, um, only thing I want you to send me is anything critical because it just builds up, and then I come back and I've got 200 or 300 emails to work through, and by that time, your train of thought's probably on something else anyway. So as far as questions and things like that with the market, try to hold those next week, unless it's just a critical emergency. And if it is an emergency, feel free to email me, and I will get back to you as quick as possible. But let's move on to the chart lesson. As you can see, it was relatively neutral here uh, when I came in. You really probably could have taken this trade. I think it had set up right around the 7 o'clock hour. It was a little bit before 7 o'clock. If you were here, that's a possibility, but the first one after 7 o'clock was right here. And notice it tried to tick higher, and you had a little trap and turned down. Big net bearish bar. Um, it went up and then went out all in the same bar, so your stop would be right there. Quick, easy scalp, and then guess what? It fails out the bottom, and you get that opportunity to get in at the very low that I talk about a lot. And notice we traded up into this trading range. So successfully, if we break out successfully, it's probably going to be to the upside. I would instantly be looking for a measured move at a minimum like so, which would have put prices up here to about this level. You can see we kind of went sideways from there before we went higher again. So that would be my first target. But anyway, quick, easy scalp coming down, and then we fell out the low side. But it also, you should have been looking for a trend line along here, and you've got that as well if you saw that. Um, this is a second entry long. Notice that high, pull back first entry, pull back second entry. So that's a second entry long. It's a failed break lower. It's a bounce off a possible trend line. Great place to go long. And it could turn down right here, but it may push on through, which it did. And notice what happens. You get a pullback here. You really just continue to go sideways, but notice how it's still bouncing off your trend line, closing inside it. And then you also got a shorter term trend line here that's working up, and everything's closing inside of it as well. And so you might have considered going long here, but it's too much sideways. But when we pull back again, notice the new low, pull back first entry, then we shoot through the EMA, pull back second entry. That second entry short fails instantly and turns up. There's some resistance right in here, but your high is up here, and that's the one that you're most concerned about, and you got enough room. With that trap, I'd be willing to take that. If it was closer into this high, I'd say maybe you wait. But this is more like a midpoint in here, and let's just copy this line. You can kind of see the midpoint right in there, and it's probably a tick higher than that. So it's a little failed break. It's like a little breakout pullback on that midline. But I'd be willing to risk that one, especially with that trap right there, knowing this was the overnight high, because that's probably where we're headed. And eventually we pushed on through that. I wouldn't take any of these entries here. I'd wait for a correction. And we get that here. And notice the new high. You pull back, you get a first entry. You pull back, you get a second entry long. It's right off that blue trend line. It's a nice little reversal bar. So just get in there. And actually, it's not a great signal bar, but honestly, I wouldn't be too afraid to add on here. Probably make that one green. It's a little more aggressive, so, but I wouldn't be afraid to add on there. And if I wasn't in, I wouldn't be afraid to enter right there, because you've got all that support across there, plus the trend line that we bounced off. Notice that we bounced off the blue trend line 2 more times there. So that's a nice setup. If you want to, you can add on. It's been a little aggressive for an add-on. It's really a little aggressive even for a first entry. If you hadn't already entered here, this was the place to enter. But if you want to be a little aggressive, I like adding on there, even entering there on an aggressive term. And then we get almost a repeat pattern here. Get a new high, pull back first entry, pull back second entry. This is your signal bar. These are basically matching lows, so either one of them. Your stop has to go below that, but look how bullish that bar is. Just put a stop right there, and you might let it break higher and put a limit order in back to where you would have entered here, and you would have gotten filled there to the tick, and then it went up, and then you get a fail, and then you get that trap right here. Notice this also set the brown trend line and confirmed it. You had your first 2 swings here. This confirmed here. So nice entry. I wouldn't enter the second entry right into that resistance though. I'd wait for a better entry than that. And you do get a breakout pullback long here, but better than that, notice there's a new swing low. It's lower than that one. So you're going up first entry short, going up second entry short. It fails instantly. You get a nice bullish reversal bar right off that brown trend line again. It's a breakout pullback long. It's a failed second entry short. It's a test off the trend line. It's a double bottom. A lot of reasons to like that long. And then you get another little breakout pullback long right here. It went lower and turns up. I like, even though that's almost, actually that is the high of the day. Even though that's the high of the day, Um, or was it right here? I still like it because it went lower first and it turned and went out the other side. And you got to be paying attention to this brown trend line. And if you put it down here across these highs, you can see that we're not anywhere near back up there yet. So I like that one. And really, there's a failed second entry short here, but we weren't back to this blue line. We weren't back to the EMA. We weren't back to the brown. I think it's a little risky. It would have worked, but wait for a better correction. And then you get that right here. You can see that little trend line working up there. There's a failed second entry long, but don't be going short in a trend like this. This is a strong trend. So when it bounces off, look how bullish that bar is. It's almost a repeat pattern. Where was the one before? Oh, right here. It's kind of a repeat pattern of that. Pulling back and you get that bullish bar. And there's a little failed break lower here, bullish bar. Actually, it was this one that I was looking at. And just go, it's pretty close to that high, so you may let it break up and then put a stop, a limit order or a tick or so back, but you could just put a stop there. You would have got filled either way, and it takes on off again. Another nice move, and there's a shorter term trend line working right up through there. Then we bounce off the high, pull back first entry, pull back second entry. This one was green, and the reason being is that we weren't back to the trend line. Did have a break and a new low and a little failed break lower, so it is a little aggressive. So for that reason, I made it green. But you get a little close outside this one, move to a new low, and bounces right off the second entry long, right off that brown trend line again. Key entry point. Look at it go. Then notice the blue trend line comes into effect. It actually was riding up the trend line there. Now it's testing it from underneath. First entry, pull back second entry. And this is more of a neutral bar, but this is a strong trend. And it's a second entry long at the EMA, at the trend line. You might let it break higher and drop a limit order just to get a very low risk entry, but look at it take off. And that got you into the 2 o'clock hour. There really wasn't another entry before that. So this is a strong trend day. And when you see a day like this where it just keeps going higher and higher and the pullbacks are not very big, anything off the key entry point that gives you a second entry or a decent setup, you just about have to take it or you're not going to get any entries. So this was a really good day and real easy day for the most part. It wasn't quite clear that it was going to be so strong right through here, but after about 9:30, it was all uphill and it was pretty strong. So when you see a day where you just keep going higher and higher and you see all these little dojis and little small bars, little small corrections, it just keeps going higher and higher. You'll hear me say that often. It's usually an indication of a strong day. And it may not look like it, but those are strong trends and you want to take advantage of them. And don't be counter trend trading. Even though there's some trades here that work, too many of them will fail and you'll just get burned. Don't be trying to pick tops on a day like this. Forget shorts. Here we were more neutral, so it was okay. But once that was over, don't be looking for any more shorts. Just stay with the trend and, and try to find a way to hang on to any runners you can collect because they may go a long way. So anyway, that's pretty much it for the day. Pretty simple day. It was mostly buys. There was one early sale, and then after that, it was all buys. So, nice trading day. Don't forget, I'll be gone next week, and I'll try to remind you as the week goes on about that. And but for today, I'm done. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.